Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Competitive Advantage Talks presented by Wasserman at the 2018 Sloan Sports Analytics Conference. My name is Nick DeGansey, and I'm a first-year MBA student here at MIT Sloan. It's my pleasure to present or introduce our next presentation, Dreams Never Die. Join me in welcoming our speaker, CJ Anderson of the Denver Broncos, to the stage.
Wait, does I add it to all the other variables? So I put everything down to one number, and the first thing I thought was, can I put a number on that scale and add it to an overall as part of the integration
and
process?
Those systems exist.
Yeah, because I built it for EA.
Right.
So I do all the NHL, AHL, CHL players, I put it to one number.
Would love to talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to get straight to it. Who am I? My name is CJ Anderson, running back of Denver Broncos. I was undrafted, so I was just sitting in here hearing that guy talk about analytics and how to make players better and how to make players this and that. I was undrafted, so none of that means absolutely nothing. No disrespect if you believe in that, that just means absolutely nothing. Undrafted means there were 32 teams. That's how many teams in the NFL. 254 picks. That's how many people were picked in my draft class. 22 running backs. I was none of them. I was not drafted at all. I didn't hear my name on the ticker. I didn't hear my name on ESPN at all. So that's what that is. But I'm also a kid who grew up in the inner city. I grew up in a place called Vallejo, California. Inner city kid, grew up really, really rough. My uncle was heavily on drugs, did drugs, sold drugs. I've seen FBI, police all through my house when I was young. So as a young kid, you can say I've been exposed to a bunch of things that kids shouldn't be exposed to at my age at all. So it's interesting, it's interesting. And from there, a Pro Bowl, I got a Super Bowl. I've done some things in my career that I'm happy and proud of, but also know what it took to, how hard that was. Also, as a UC Berkeley alum. But that's not why I'm here to talk about me today. I'm here to talk about how can I help my youth? How can I help my youth into get in the position where I am today? Not strictly just athletics, but also on the technology side, we'll get to it. So that's what you see right here, right behind me. You see these 6 kids. These 6 kids, 6 innocent kids. Remember that, innocent. 6 innocent kids. But what you see toy guns. You see gang signs. These are my kids in my community. These are kids I know their father, who does things that are not, as you say, good with the law. Things that are definitely not really, really great. They're bad. But these kids, that's all they're exposed to. This is what I was exposed to. I was one of these 6 kids. I got my little brother here, Kalen Anderson, who's sitting on the left, and my other brother, Clifton Hayes, who's sitting next to him. We were exposed to this when we was young. That toy gun you see now, that's a real gun when he's 16, promise you. Those gang signs, those hoods, as we like to call them, those signs that they're throwing up is where they're from and what they represent. Those kids right there, they're just 8, 9. None of those kids is over 10 years old. The oldest one is top right corner, 10 years old. And look what he's throwing up. That's insane. Kids shouldn't have to know that, have to go through that. I shouldn't have to see that. Kids in my neighborhood, but not just my neighborhood, all inner city. We can tell you what the local dope man look like, but I can't tell you who works at Google. These kids can't tell you who's the sports attorney, who's the ticket man. What's up, Clark? These kids can't tell you that. But these kids can tell you how abusive their home is, what's going on in their home, how they don't have no food. That's what these kids can tell you. So just keep this picture in your mind, these 6 kids right here, because I was one of these 6 kids. My uncle, I done some things for my uncle that I did not want to do, but I had to do. So from there, oh man, this is terrible. So California is really, really big. California is huge. We are in the bottom 30 percentile in education. My city. We're also the highest dropout rate in California, in my city in Vallejo, California. We're 3 out of 10, apologize about that, but 3 out of 10 in our test scores, 3 out of 10 in our school rankings. 6% dropout rate in our city compared to every other city in California. It's only 2%. 77 of these children are low-income students. Now, low-income just means free lunch. That's all it means, free lunch. But those kids, what they see, those 6 kids that you see, this chart that you see, those 6 kids are not dummies or idiots. They're just a product of their environment. No one taught them how to apply themselves to education, to sports, for good, for better, a lot better. So my goal is to find a way to fix that. So how do we do that, right? You start with them 2. This is a community event I had back in Vallejo, California. This was a Thanksgiving event. On our website, dndfoundation22.com, on our website, you can look at a quick snip video of our event. This is my niece and my nephew, my older brother. These are his kids. Malia, the girl, she's 5. Amari, the boy, he's 8. They'll never have to see anything that me and my brother saw growing up. They'll never have to see the guns, the gangs, the violence, the drugs, the things that I've seen in my house growing up, because we changed their perspective. Me and my brothers was opened up to resources that changes our perspective to change their perspective. And that's what I'm trying to do with those 6 kids. That's the difference. They're no older than those other 6 kids. They just live in a different environment and have a different perspective. So I can't change the environment, but I can change the perspective. So how did I do that? I created a foundation called Dreams Never Die. Dreams Never Die. It's going to be super, super successful, and I'm going to tell you why. That's how. That's our goal. Not only that's our goal, that is what we're absolutely doing right now, right? So this is amazing. Our goal right now is to create a 40,000 square foot facility in Vallejo, California for academic and athletic resources for all students in the city of Vallejo, California, and Bay Area, because I do know Marshawn Lynch, Dame Leonard, and some other big-time NBA, NFL players that will have their kids come down from their respective communities. But inside that building will be a 20,000 square foot building, so building within the building, strictly for academics. So that's the beige boxes that you see. Downstairs is 8,000 feet, upstairs is 12,000 feet. Now, how do you change the kid perspective, right? Well, you got to give it resources. How do you give it resources? Well, you get a guy with a platform like myself, and then I go do the legwork to all these companies I'm finna name to you to bring to our kids. Because right now, our kids in our community, they see the next C.J. Anderson, or they see the next Jay-Z. And if they are not the next big athlete, if they're not the next big entertainer, they're back in the streets selling drugs, doing gang violent things that are not successful. So, to help with these kid resources, partnerships we have now is Google. Google will implement their Google Classroom. And not only that they're going to implement their Google Classroom, see, the partnerships that people think we have is having Google there and then Google just, say we can endorse and sponsor them. No, Google's going to have 3,000 square feet in our 20,000 big part of our academic part. Google's going to have 3,000 of that, and they're designing the sketch. They are designing programs to put in our facility strictly for our kids. YouTube is the same way. Eero, which is a Wi-Fi enhancer. Twitch, which is a video game company. So with those big tech companies down in Silicon Valley who's helping me right down there in San Francisco, Google with their own coding programs. Twitch is a video game company, if people don't know. It's a streaming where you can stream and play video games and get paid for it. I know a guy that's making $750,000 on Twitch. So yes, do we want our kids to play video games? We definitely do, because it'll keep them off that gun, keep them off them drugs, for sure. Not only that they can play video games and get paid, they can also code development software to make and create video games, which is pretty interesting. I think every kid will love some type of way and some type of ways to do that. On top of that, bringing in DocuSign, having our kids travel up to Silicon Valley to Airbnb, so our kids can see someone who looks like them in a whole different aspect, whole different perspective, whole different region of, hey, he's doing what I'm doing. He looks like me. He's doing something I would like to do, and that's the way we can get him in. We also going to have 7 sports. That'll be football, of course, because of myself, basketball, girls and boys, softball, baseball, golf. What am I missing? I'm missing something. Can't think right now. Apologize. Football, basketball, baseball, golf, soccer. That's the last one. There's the last one. And volleyball. Those are the last 2. So not only that are we giving our kids everything they need education-wise on the tech side, we're also going to give them everything on the athletic side. Speaking of education, we're also going to have tutoring in SAT and ACT prep coming from UC Berkeley, coming from beautiful Harvard that I did this same exact speech kind of in a different way, but did at Harvard, and Harvard's endorsing it behind us. Harvard already have programs that they're doing at the inner city of Boston that they're implementing in our facility for our kids, which is great. We also drew a pipeline from Harvard all the way down to Vallejo, so if kids do have 3.2s, 3.3s, they're right there. Harvard will do everything they can to get that kid in, to change that kid perspective. That's something that you have to do, because people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand. I grew up a certain way. And when I grew up, it was all about, can I be the next NFL superstar? And it worked out for me. Worked out for me to be the next NFL football player. But I understand every kid don't have that talent or don't have that guidance and mentorship that I have. Right now, these kids getting out of school at 3 o'clock have nowhere to go from 3 to 9. That's where most of their trouble is going to. So we're going to build a facility to build that, to bridge that gap and help these kids. So not only that they're getting their good tech companies and your Googles and your Facebooks and Apples who's going to provide computers and tablets for our kids, they'll get 2 robot companies called Spiro, which is out of Boulder, Colorado, which is creative and innovative ways of teaching our kids fun ways, coding the robot. So 5 times 5, 25, the kid codes the robot draws out 25. The Civil War, reenact the Civil War, the kid builds with UBTech, build little 8 Army robots, and then code the robots to reenact the Civil War. So we think it's something really, 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 really great that's going to be in our facility and what these companies want to do for our youth, because they understand that our youth is the future. And that's just the truth. So not only are we doing that on that side, you have the athletic side of it too. Now this is what I really like. This is our academic program. So like I said, tutoring SAT will be offered by, tutoring, SAT, ACT prep will be offered by UC Berkeley, Stanford, UC Davis, Harvard. That's huge. That's huge. Huge. Really, really amazing. So that's open to everybody. What you see on the right, which I'm gonna flip over, what you see there, and I know it's really small, our presentation was different, but MIT said I had to do it this way, so they changed it up. So I'm just throwing that out there to people. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. But I can explain it every year. So this is for our high school students only. Every year, our high school students start in 9th grade. We're going to start with a small, selective few. Our high school students will be in a program called the Elite Academic Program. This is strictly for academic students only. This has nothing to do with student athletes. We'll get to that in a minute. But every kid that we choose, we select the at-risk. I hate that word, at-risk student. At-risk means the kid doesn't, not going to graduate high school. The kid's not going to have a chance to go to college. At-risk means the kid might be hungry, and if you just feed him, he'll listen to you. And after you listen to you, then you can tell him how to do his math homework. Because he's not going to do his math homework if he's going home every day and daddy is beating mommy, or daddy's not even home, or peanut butter and jelly sandwiches is just for dinner. How do I know this? Because I was one of those kids. So with the Elite Academic Program, just briefly explain what it is. Each kid will go through a phase with a hands-on guidance team leader. Our team leaders will be hired by a website called EdJoin. EdJoin is a website where people who just graduated from college in the education field want to be superintendents or principals or teachers in a certain school district. The school district do not have any open jobs. They can come get experience from our facility. So that's going to help us tremendously. It's going to take some of our old educators, because we know the school district is bad. Doesn't mean there's people bad in the school district. The school district is bad because kids don't apply themselves totally because what's going on in their environment back home. But there are really great teachers. I'm sitting here, and I can name several great teachers I had in the school district. But those teachers are retired. But those teachers will run the day-to-day teaching joint educators, people from the outside of the community, letting them know how to handle the kids in the community. So back to the elite academic program. We're going to take kids about time they get to their junior year. So they're going to get hands-on things, certain tutoring, have their day set up by their team leader. That'll be their 9th and 10th grade year. By their junior year, we're going to give them a list of California colleges. Every single college in California, we're going to give them a list. On that list, we're going to tell them to pick 5 to 7. 5 to 7 different colleges in California. It helps us because it's a great way to keep, pay their tuition when they get to college because they're in-state students. Except when they get accepted to Harvard, then that's something completely different I'm working on with Harvard. However, let's stay what we're going with. So, boom, we take that. They choose 5 to 7. It's up to that team leader to find different scholarship and different grants to help pay for that college, right? So that's what the team leader will do during that process of going into their while they're in their junior year before they get to their senior year. Every day we'll tell that kid, hey, you got a D in math, Miss Ware, she's over there from 3 to 5. You got a D in this, you got a C in this. We're going to do everything we possibly can hands-on with the student. After that, senior year comes, we're going to take that student and tell him to pick 3 colleges. After that, he'll take his SAT, ACT prep by us, UC Berkeley, Harvard, Stanford, whoever's teaching that class for the month. It'll be every weekend, 2 days for the month. So 2 weeks, 8 weeks, 4 classes a month for 8 weeks. So that's pretty amazing. But what we're going to do is after they take that, we'll sign them up for the SAT. We're also going to pay for that. When they pick those 3 colleges, we're going to help them fill out the college applications. We're also going to pay for that as a foundation. So there's nothing financial going on with the parent. There's nothing going on with the student. There's no stress at all. Us as a foundation will take care of those things. That's the plan. The plan is to make it as easy as possible for parent and student as we can. After we do that, let's say the kid got accepted into UCLA. We're going to take them down to UCLA, student and the parent. We're going to take them down to UCLA. Our team leader will drive up or fly down, how much money we have and reasonable. We're going to take them to UCLA. When they get to UCLA, we're going to show them their freshman dorms. We're going to show them where the bookstore is. We're going to have them talk to their counselor-to-be so they can have that rapport. Everything that they've been doing in our building has been in one building. So we're going to take that student and say, hey, the math lab's over there, science lab's over there, writing lab's over there. This is the same thing you was getting in our facility, but now you're getting it on campus everywhere. So it won't be in one building. It's just bringing that kid over and transitioning them to college is the best way possible. Any college in California. So after we do that, say we raise $30,000 for the kid's at UCLA, we got to pay off the rest of his tuition. The foundation will pay off the rest of his tuition. Moving on to the academic. I only got so much time left, so I had to breeze through this, apologize. Moving on to the athletic. The elite athletic program is the same way, it's just the difference is we'll be handling your recruiting process. So we'll be doing the highlight tapes. We'll be getting your game film from your coaches. We will be sending those out to every college in the country. So there's a reason why you got academic and athletic in 2 separate entities, right? As an academic scholar, I had everything I need on the athletic side because Cal took care of everything. But for some of you guys who are probably regular students in here, you guys didn't have the tutoring. You guys didn't have all the resources. You was also paying for your own tuition. Then you had to pay for tutoring on top of that. I didn't have to do that as a student athlete. So now we're going to give our students, the regular academic students, the same thing student athletes get. Because after I send their highlight tape to Nick Saban and Nick Saban want them, it's Nick Saban's problem. He got it. And Nick Saban going to make sure he's right because that's what they do. Dabo Swinney, that's what they do. And because of our connections, we will do that starting in the first 7 sports. So if you are in the elite academic program, it automatically puts you in the elite athletic program, automatically puts you in the elite academic program. It puts you in there. And from there, like I said, we'll make sure you're in the clearance house. We'll make sure that we are taking everything and we're doing everything possible to make our student athletes reach their dream, no matter what sport that is, such as I reached mine. That's the budget, $10 million. $10 million. If you want to ask me how much we raised so far, I can tell you that, on top of my own money inside that. $10 million, I got a 5-year plan. $10 million will get us through the first 6 years. 18 to 22 million will get us through life. So that's the wrap up as quick as I can. If you want to know a lot more detail, because I know I was speaking in front of Obama, before Obama, also understand that so many people was going to be in here because of that. I only had 20 minutes because the guy in front of me, was boasting his own thing, right? He was doing his own thing, so that's fine. But nah, seriously, if you believe in what we want to do and you want to know a lot more detail about what we're trying to do and what we're doing in Vallejo, California, please contact us, because we are definitely looking for help everywhere with everybody. Now that I got 5 minutes to spare, I can ask some questions I can take questions if you have questions. But other than that, that's it. So if you have any questions about the companies that I'm working with, about what I have in the facility already, if you got any questions, please ask. If not, you can always email them to us too, and that's fine too. But what we're trying to do for the youth is just something crazy, because the youth just doesn't have it, and that's just the truth. I don't think people understand, and I didn't get a chance, and now I got 4 minutes, really where I come from and how I come from. You had something?
I really admire what you do. It's incredibly impressive. When you speak of your childhood experiences, there's a study out there there's something out there called Project ACEs, Adverse Childhood Experience Study, and I'm wondering if that's something that can be incorporated into what it is you're trying to grow. That's number one. And then the second thing is there's a group in Philly called the Inner Strength Foundation. And the Inner Strength Foundation walks into local high schools and teaches children with adverse childhood experiences how to self-regulate. And it sounds like it would be an incredible piece to the puzzle that you're trying to put together.
Huge. I didn't get a chance to speak on it, but Jack Canfield, if everybody know who Jack Canfield is, right, this big successful writer, he has programs that he's going to implement in our facility to teach kids self-esteem. My brother has 5. My brother over there who graduated in this, Kalen, who graduated with his sociology degree, he believes 5 things help connect things together. Since I got 3 minutes, I can briefly go through them. The first is sociology and how to work and network within groups, which we're going to teach our kids. The second is psychology. There's nothing wrong with you. If you like robots, that's okay. If you like painting, which we would teach in our facility too, we got painting, cooking classes, that's fine. You don't have to be the cool kid who plays sports. That's okay. That's the second thing. The third thing is money, finances, financial literacy. We're definitely going to teach our kids how to manage money, how to make money move from point A to point B, how to take a risk, how to take a loss. How to write a check. I didn't learn how to write a check until I got in the National Football League. That's insane. That's when I was 22 years old. That's 3. Number 4, law. Everybody has to know the ins and outs and the ups and downs of law. But we also gonna have, my attorney, who's on the sports side of things, teach kids if they want to be an attorney. That's one. Second is entrepreneurship. There are different things that kids can do these days using their social media platform to be successful. And we're going to teach those ways with YouTube and those different companies. But as far as the self-esteem and getting kids to speak and speak out and talk, definitely heavy in our thing. My goal is I play at the highest level of football. I believe I have the best trainers, best coaches, the best of the best. The goal is to give my kids the best of the best. And the only way you give those kids the best of the best is literally by finding people who does their job extremely well and willing to lift in resources. But I'll definitely take that into consideration for sure. We love it. Any other questions about D&D, about the facility?
I'm really impressed by all this. This is so cool. I was going to ask, have you been able to partner with any of your teammates, or how do you go about raising funds?
So the Boys and Girls Club and DocuSign, we think will be the 2 biggest financial contributions to set us up to be done. Like I said, that 18 to 22 million, we think that's going to help. Yes, Von Miller, Emmanuel Sanders, Chris Harris, but not just them. the Golden State Warriors and Draymond Green, Steph Curry, KD are going to help with the basketball programs. The Warriors will take care of that part. Raising funds in a way where, we have galas, you have different events, golf tournaments, bowling tournaments, because I love the bowl, things like that to help raise funds. But as far as the huge capital, because the building already exists. All I have to do is renovate the inside of it. So to help with that, there's a couple teammates, I scratch their foundation, they'll scratch mine. Any other questions? Couple seconds left. Well, I just want to thank you guys for sitting and listening. I understand 44 is finna go speak. It's funny. I'm going to wrap this up with this. In 2009, Obama spoke at Arlington, Virginia, Westfield High School. I was a senior. I was 18 years old. And I remember when he talked about guidance, mentorship, having great teachers, great educators to help our future youth, which was me at the time. And it's crazy, 9 years later, I didn't understand it then. At the time it was, okay, I hear what he's talking about. He looks like me running for president. That's pretty cool. Check the vote, right? That's kind of how it was. Then the second term was something completely different because I was a little older, so I got to understand. But I take that and what he did 9 years ago into what I'm doing today, and I just see how it all relates. And that just fits with what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to give guidance. I'm trying to give mentorship. I'm trying to help. Hands-on, one-on-one. So when you see those 6 kids who was holding toy guns, that'll be real guns from where I come from, and throwing up gang signs, because that's what they really believe and what they see, changing those kids' perspective to let them know, what you guys do are successful. And that's better than being dead at 18, being dead at 16, not being alive at 21, 25, which we all have friends in that corner over there. We all have friends and different people who did not see the age 16, 17 plus. So taking those 6 kids and changing those perspectives, taking those words that Obama said 9 years ago, hits home with me, and that's kind of why I wanted to start the foundation. So thank you.